everybody, it's 2bricks, and the day has finally arrived. You have purchased your instructions, you've ordered your parts, and your 2bricks Ultimate Playset Scale Millennium Falcon is sitting in front of you, ready to be played with. It's a day that many thought would never come, and I'm so thrilled that it is finally here. Thank you so much, first of all, to the Brick Collective for teaming up with me to get this model out to you guys. It's just a project that I just simply did not have the time and frankly was a little bit intimidated to tackle in instruction form for you guys, while still maintaining any kind of a presence on my channel and having a life and doing other things other than just making the instructions for this, because it's hard. So yeah, a huge shout out to them for being able to have this available for you guys now. So just wanted to make a quick video. Well, actually, in all likelihood, it's not going to be quick, but a video to accompany the set, to give you guys an idea about what all of the features are, to go through all of the handling tips, to give you a look at all of the tiny little foibles that this ship has, because there is so much going on with this ship. And if you know it intimately, as I do, being the person who designed it, you have a lot easier time and you get the absolute most out of playing with this thing. So I really wanted to make sure to go through carefully and do all of that for you, and it just didn't seem practical to do that at the end of the instruction manual. It would have taken just an absolute ton of explaining, and it's just easier if I can just show you. So this video will be linked with your instruction purchase, so if you're watching this, you've likely bought those and are here because of that. So let's dive in, and we're going to take a look at all of those things, and then at the end I'm going to show you how to wire up the lighting kit that I'm recommending that you use for the lights for the Hyperdrive. So that's going to be super fun. So we'll start off with the action features and then we'll move into handling. All right, and action feature number one, if you turn this little knob up here, then the boarding ramp goes up and down. So if you turn it the other way, it goes back up. Sorry, it can get a little bit caught sometimes. So that is one thing to be aware of. So another thing is, if it gets stuck, there is a chance that this back panel here, which can be removed for ease of access, may be interfering with the piece a little bit. So just push that down and give it another go, and there you go, you should be fine. So it stays up on its own. You don't have to you just turn it to a natural, sorry about the focus there. You turn it to a natural stopping point and it will just hold itself in place. The ramp will not go anywhere. And there you go, that's action feature the first. And the second action feature is that you have a light brick integrated into this panel that I was just referring to. So if you push down on this right here, you can see in there, well, you can't see it because this room is exceedingly bright, but up inside of there you can see a light will turn on. Also, my light brick is quite faded, and man, the Falcon is dusty. That's just a testament to how long it's been sitting here waiting to be released for you guys. But yeah, so sometimes you can forget where those things are. So if you need a refresher, this is where the ramp activator is, and this is where the light activator is. Next up, we have the hidden missile compartment in here. So if you want to blow up the Death Star 2, you just go ahead and flip up that middle front section there, and you can fire these bad boys off. Whoops, had a misfire there. Oh, go, there you go. I was just hitting it too hard with my finger. So you can go ahead and, yeah, like I said, blow up the Death Star 2 using those proton torpedoes. Action feature number 3, the dish moves. No, I'm just kidding, that's not really it. I just wanted to give you guys an orientation of where we are on the ship. So if you move underneath here, you have this little trapdoor which opens up and releases the blaster that will target stormtroopers automatically, so that Han and the crew and everybody has time to escape. So that just folds back up. You just tuck it up manually and close the door up. And that one is kind of hard to see, but then if you just look for the inverted plate relative to the rest of these, these are all studs facing down. This one you can see the underside of the plate. That is there for you to be able to get a finger underneath and to open the door. So it's just on a little arm that will drop down, and there that is. It's a nice little feature. And obviously when you open the Falcon up, you will be able to see that on the inside as well, in case you ever forget where it's located on the ship. After many years of sitting on a shelf, you may forget where certain things are located. But the dish really can move, and it can also articulate up and down, so that's very nice. And moving on back down the ship this way now, we are at the next action feature, which is the opening top hatch. So this one is very, very simple, and again, it's just another one of these actuators, same as the one for the ramp. So if you remember to look out for those on the top of the ship, it probably does something. I do like to camouflage things away, but then it does make it hard to remember sometimes where they are. So yeah, that just opens up those two doors in there. And again, you'll find a natural stopping point for that, so you don't have to do anything fancy, and it just activates. Next up, we have an interesting point of articulation. That is the cannon's top and bottom. They are the same build, pretty much exactly. And so you can position these to be firing at the Empire. So obviously you picture Luke and Han's faces on the other side of this window, seated facing upwards like that. But naturally, the cannon, the way that it's built, will want to just sort of droop down like so. So if you want to be able to hold the pose, you merely have to pinch this bottom section right here. Just pinch these together to give it that little extra bit of friction, and then it can hold its pose just fine. So there you go. And then yeah, just after a while, you know, it might come back a week later and it's back down again, and you can just give it another pinch to keep it back in place. But I just wanted to, you know, make sure that you know that it is not a defect. Obviously, the quality of the parts that you have may vary, so it may have more or less friction right out of the gate. So you know, what I do on mine is, like I said, just give it that little pinch, and you can just position it however you like. And that's it for action features, unless you've installed the lighting, but we're going to talk about that at the end. But now let's move on to general handling tips. All right, so the Falcon is naturally a very sturdy ship. The 2bricks philosophy is to make things that are not not an undue burden to be able to pick up and move around and interact with. So for this one, being as how it's such a large and complex model, I really designed one specific way that I intended for it to be picked up, and that is right here. So you get some fingers underneath both the boarding ramp on this side and then just the underside of this docking area here, and you just grip it and you pick it up right from the middle, and you can swish it around, move it, reposition it however you want, and then just be careful to place it nice and flat and even so that you don't jostle and disturb the landing gear underneath, since you know they could be a potential point of failure if you were to place the thing down very clumsily or not on a flat surface. So I do recommend keeping it on a flat surface. The landing gear are plenty sturdy, but you know, Lego is just plastic bricks after all, so there is the potential for something to break under here at those connection points particularly. But yeah, as long as you hold it from the middle here, you're golden. I mean, you definitely can, and I have pick it up from basically any spot underneath the body. So I'm just demonstrating that for you guys. You know, I wouldn't normally do it this way, but there is the increased risk that something might, some of the underside details might get snapped off. So the thing I like to do is to just, because I know that these are flat and relatively easy to use spots here, that's what I just use for that. So there you go. That's your main handling tip. Done. So next up, I wanted to show you guys how to remove all of the lovely top panels and detailing to access that juicy interior the most efficient way. I know if you've just finished, you know, completed the instructions, you've placed everything on in a certain order, and that is, you know, kind of part of the recommended way to assemble and disassemble this, but I don't want you guys to have to look back at the instruction manual. I just wanted to give you the rundown on how to do it here. So there is kind of an intended way to do it, although obviously, again, you can just place things and take things on and off as you wish, but it just makes it easier if you kind of do it all in the order that I am about to suggest. So first of all, you have these four little ball end bars here. So those are intended to hold everything together, so they just act as a little pressure switch on the top there that is just pinning down all of the various side panels. So with those raised into the upper positions like that, you can go ahead and remove these main panels here. So this one, this one, this one, and then this guy here. So this one has an additional little bit of protection here, I guess, in the form of this clip. So you just remove or move that one out of the way. You can remove this one here. And then here again, we have an additional little kind of piece of detailing / extra security for that. And so you could move that out of the way, and then you can pull this front panel off. And then the easiest thing to do is just simply pull off the top dish. And then you can also get this last panel out like so. And with all of those off, now you can go ahead and just remove the entire main central section here. So I recommend just holding it on the front and back like so. Place that down. And then lastly, you can remove this panel for easy access and view down into the boarding ramp there, and then also the car door comes off. Now there is a clip in here that is set at the correct angle by default for this, you know, in the instruction manual. So when you just remove that, if it gets moved out of the way or you bump it, you can just go ahead and carefully line it up in there, place that back, and there you go. So that is designed to come off. Before you attempt to open anything on the cockpit here, you may struggle So if this is on and you try to open this up, it's going to kind of catch. So best thing to do is remove the cockpit car door first, and then you can open up these flaps here and this top flap as well. So you can access the full interior space here to get all of your figures. And then I also recommend just peeling off the whole windshield and front section there. And just be careful that the bottom cone, the gray cone here on the bottom, doesn't come off with it. And of course, if it does, not the end of the world, you can just put it back. But there you go, there's the full open interior. And there are a couple of other little opening areas here. So we have the, you know, in case you forget for later on. So we have the little maintenance bay here, which you just pull off using the probe droid head. And I've used the official printed probe droid head, but in the instructions this just calls for a white head, just because this piece may be expensive. And then we also have a couple of exposed smuggling compartments in here that don't currently have their compartments in. I must fix that. But yeah, you can just place those in here, and they are fairly well hidden away once they're in. And we also have this opening hatchback here where you can place somebody to simulate an escape pod situation. So just don't forget that is there as well. All right, and with all of this stuff removed, I just wanted to give you guys a look at how to place 4 figures into the cockpit of your Falcon, because even though this does not use the larger scale cockpit from the Ultimate Collector Series Lego ones, this actually uses the playset scale cockpit. It can still come with 4 figures, so that's really fun. So yeah, first of all, I just knocked off this cone, so I just wanted to show you guys. This is fairly easy to knock off, so do be aware. Just part of the whole kind of design of the cone, and the way that it has to be integrated into the design is kind of unavoidable. So, but yeah, to place your 4 figures, you want to start off by pushing these seat backs forward like it's a 70s camper van or something. And you can take your standard sized sort of regular looking minifigures here, and you place them down in the seats in the back. And they stud down onto this one stud here, which clicks into the back of their feet. So with Leia, it'll be this bottom stud here, like so. And they have room with their seat backs and everything. Still have room to sit, and then you just put the front seats back forward like so, and it does get a little cramped for them, unfortunately. But hey, the Falcon is not super roomy in the cockpit area. So same deal at the front here. So just I'm putting a hand underneath to support, make sure this cone doesn't fly off. Oh, and I lost one of my, oopsie daisies, I lost one of my steering yokes there. This clip actually has worn out on me, so I have to replace it. But yeah, that should not happen, but hopefully you have better luck with your clips than I do. Mine tend to break on me all the time, and I have to get new ones. So yeah, then Chewie can fit in here as well, because obviously we need for Chewie to be able to fit into his seat in the Falcon. But again, I feel really bad for poor Leia that she has to sit back there and try to see over his head. So then you can place this down like so, and if you can just angle this however you like. You kind of find a natural point where it wants to sit, where it allows everybody to fit in there. You can place these back sections down here, and then you can just put the cockpit right over the top. And like I said, it is delicate, it is ginger. You have to be kind of treat it gingerly, and but it goes in, and there you go. And my poor Hyperdrive yoke must get a new clip from Lego. So yeah, there you go. There's your 4 figures all seated in the front of the Falcon, and it looks absolutely great when you get down on eye level there and look down through and see all the characters sitting back there. It's absolutely very satisfying. And to set up kind of a famous scene here, I just wanted to show you the Luke training scene. So we can place Luke on the available stud here so that he's facing off against the probe droid. You can place Obi-Wan sitting in the bench here. So what I like to do is just slide the minifigure's feet underneath this little table, and then sort of use it to pinch the figure in place, so they don't fly around all over the place when you put the lid back on and move this thing around. And then Han can sit in his little chair back here being all skeptical. And maybe you can place Chewie off to the side. I forget where he was in the scene here, but yeah, place Chewie off to the side watching. Hopefully he doesn't get too close to that lightsaber blade. That looks dangerous. But yeah, everybody can fit in here, and it's a very nice scene, and obviously very reminiscent of, or very nostalgic for the original movie, which I know, of course, lives in everyone's hearts for all time. So there you go. So a couple of other areas where figures might want to go that may not be so intuitive right off the bat. So we have this bed, which can lift up here. So this is obviously located where it should be located according to the movie. So we can place Chewie down in this bed here, like he's been wounded, as if we're reenacting The Force Awakens. And you can go ahead and just tip that back into place, like so. So it just very easily accommodates a figure there. And then we also have the little sled here, which you can just place any two regular minifigures in to be manning the top and bottom gunner turrets, and then that just slips into a track at the back end here, so you can slide that down and just rest in place where it should be. Like I mentioned, we have the escape pod hatch down here, so that is just a very simple matter of placing a figure down in there. Again, any normal size figure will do. I like to put Rey down in there because she's, you know, her scene in The Last Jedi when she actually uses an escape pod, the first time I've seen that on screen. And then also we have these bunks back here, which are separate or kind of easily separatable builds. So again, you can just, this one is a little bit more tricky because it's not designed to hinge open just because of the constraints on the design there, but you can just place a figure down in there, or you can disassemble the sides, you know, to get access to the bunk more easily. And once they're down in there, you just place this one back. So this is a little bit tricky. Let me just show you here. This one's just a little bit more tricky to see. So there's a single stud, which is designed to sit at a very specific angle. So it's just kind of, you sort of feel it, but it clicks into, I believe it is this middle anti-stud here. And then you just kind of naturally find the place where these wedge plates want to meet up with the edge of the Falcon there. And it's intended to sit at this kind of awkward angle off to the side, which is reflective of how it is in the blueprints of the actual Falcon. And while I'm here to access the bathroom, this is the little safety latch for the bathroom, and then you can just go ahead and open that door. It might be easier if you move the chair out of the way or place it off to one side here, like so. And then, yeah, you have access in there to the bathroom, which does exist in the Falcon. So again, that's using the more up-to-date blueprints for that. And yeah, I just designed this to be a little catch to just keep this door closed, and also to act as a little bit of an extension to this countertop here, so you can place some more items on it for cooking and such. One of the trickier areas of the entire build is this massive row of uniquely detailed little fins back here that kind of go around the engine. And one kind of annoying little aspect of the way that it's built is that a lot of times you'll end up with like a big gap here and a little gap or no gap there at all. And all you got to do is just manually get in here and kind of roughly get them to be the same all around. You know, they don't have to be exact, and nothing's going to break in terms of not being able to place the lid on to, you know, the top section here if anything is out of line. It's purely an aesthetic thing, so I like to every now and then just reset everything and just come in here and try to make everything fit with the nice little gaps, one in between each one. And that is kind of an accurate detail as well to the actual Falcon design. There are these individual little flaps back here, but again, just by virtue of how they're built, it is kind of an annoying area, but yeah, that is just how that's intended to be, and sorry. And I just wanted to quickly show you guys how to place everything back. There is a very specific catch to each one of the panels. They have a sort of a unique design keeping them all in place, so I just wanted to go through and give you guys the full rundown on how to do that. So we'll start with no, we won't start with this piece. We'll start with the main central section, so let me grab that and I'll show you guys. All right, so yeah, grabbing the entire thing like before, so just holding it front and back, and it is a little tricky because it hinges in two places here, but as long as you're holding it there in roughly the correct spots, front and back, you're fine. So you just go ahead and place this down. I like to just kind of line it up with the front and back, and you can kind of see here, sorry, let me rotate this around, that these parts are symmetrical. So the part, sorry, I'm not explaining this correctly. The two tiles that run down the side of this corridor here line up symmetrically with the design of this panel right here. So if you're ever unsure of where this should be, there's a 4x4 tile in here that just sits right in between these two plates, and it just kind of feels right. And so that's how you know that you're placing it correctly. It can be easier if you have this panel on first, which is the one with the light brick in it. That just gives you, you know, make sure that it's lined up on the side as well. But essentially, the center of this wants to run parallel to the, or run right through the center of this spine. So yeah, that's first. And with the central spine engaged, you can pretty much go in any order from now on. There is one little piece here which you want to just go ahead and place into the downward position. It's just a little extra detail that is present on the shooting models that I really wanted to capture, and the only way I could do it was to hinge it right there. But the downside is that when you place it, it does tend to want to just sit up like this, and then you just have to place it down. So there's that. Yeah, I'll show you starting on this side first. So with this panel here, there is, oops, sorry, wrong one. You think I would know how to do this by now. So with this panel right here, there is a specific place for each of these two front panels where you want to kind of engage the underside of this panel here with the gray 1x2 rounded plate with two holes in it right there. And basically it fits right in between these two detail sections. And again, you'll feel there's a little kind of notch in there that just wants to sit in that little groove. And then as long as you have the room here where this is fitting around where the rectenna is going to go, that's the satellite dish, then you're fine. And then you can go ahead and also place this next panel down. And this one, the notch that you see here in the end, wants to fit into this little bar that is exposed right here. So as you're placing it, you'll sort of find the place where it wants to be, and it'll be sitting right there. And then these will sit flat up against one another. Sorry about that. And then, so that'll all meet up nicely at the top here, and then you can just place down this piece to hold it in place. And then also once you place the antenna back in here, and you can just pop it down. It's pretty easy to, the friction is pretty low on this attachment point, so you can pop it in and out pretty easily. And once that's in there, this is all held in place very securely by the panels here that are pushing down on top of that. And then it's kind of clicked into place here, and it's also engaged over here. Oh, and this will always get knocked loose, so just place that back in place like so. So that's that side done. Next up, we take the part that's extremely heavily detailed with all the piping and stuff here, and we just place it on this side. So same idea as the other side here. We want to engage right under here. There's this little notch that goes right there over those pipe details, and then we want to place down this little extra pipe that's supposed to kind of connect in, keep the look of that plumbing continuous right there, and that holds that in place like so. And we go ahead and place our car door. So the car door is held in with a couple of these 45-degree slope bricks underneath here. So those just engage with the car door. So you make sure those just line up nice and centralized. And then again at the end here, make sure that that piece just sits right up against the edge of that perfectly, and then just get it all down in place. We go ahead and place these down in the down position, and then now we have this one little gap to fill with this part right here. And this one doesn't have a part at the bottom to link up to, but it just has this one clip that you fold up, and then again we can place this, oops, that all happens sometimes. Go ahead and place this down, and you can kind of find a spot where it wants to be. But basically just, as long as it's applying some pressure to this panel, it'll keep it in place very nicely, and that's all secure. And moving to the back, we have this next one, and this is the one with the long bar across the top here, so you can kind of just, you'll sort of make a mental note, I think, as you go of which one goes where. So then, yeah, let's go ahead and place that in there, and then it again finds the center of this notch in the panel. The little triangular cutout finds this little part that's sticking up right here, which just holds it nicely in place. Go ahead and place down that piece right there. Moving around to the final one. And same deal again. Find the natural resting point right there inside of that groove, and then you are done. So there you go. That's how to reassemble it. Once you learn all the little tricky little attachment areas, you will know how to do it henceforth. But just the first couple of times, it takes a bit of practice. So there you go. There's all the panels replaced on the Falcon. All right, so next up we're going to show you how to do the lighting. So I've actually gone ahead and removed the lighting kit that I had in here before so that I can show you the process of attaching it. So essentially this entire section right here is designed to be able to come out relatively easy in a single go. Let me see if I can pull that out for you guys. So this central part right here is attached to the lighting setup, and not to the rest of the not like the rest of these other panels in here, so you kind of can grab at that. Oops, a little bit came off on its own. Whoops, that can happen. But essentially, this entire assembly here, we're going to lift out. I just place this back on the top. Okay, so I just reattached that. So essentially, this entire subassembly is designed to be removable in one go for the purposes of removing and attaching the lights. And the lights simply go through these holes in the Technic pins, and then that will line up with being in the back of this engine right here, which looks absolutely lovely right now without anything back there, just the light coming through it. So yeah, then we're going to go ahead and place all of those in there, and then I'll show you how to secure it on the inside. This section right here is actually specifically purpose-built to hold the battery pack of that lighting kit. So let's go ahead and start assembling the light. So this is the lighting kit that I actually purchased. This is designed to sit in a wine bottle that you have emptied, obviously. Then this illuminates the inside of the wine bottle, and the reason why these are bent like this is because previously this was installed in my Falcon, but this will all come, straight. And then what you can do is basically, as we go, I'll just show you guys, you can bend very easily the wires to fit each of these. And there's a very nice, neat amount of light bulbs that fit into a nice kind of arrangement of these Technic holes. But if you do have a separate lighting kit, I mean, I really wanted this to be easy and simple to use. But essentially anything that you can fit an LED, any size of LED that you can fit through any of these Technic holes will illuminate some portion of the engine back here. So but yeah, I'm just going to show you the kit that I have. So I'm just going to go ahead and I hope that I get this right. But okay, so take two. I did it wrong the first time, so here I go. So just going to insert the first bulb into this second hole that we have right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and skip two Technic holes and then put a bulb into the next one. Skip two, go into the next one. Skip two once again, place it in there. So that's the first row done there for that brick. So this one will does want to fall out on me all the time, so I just kind of have to like bend the wire on the other side to have it stay in shape, kind of hook it around. The good thing about the wire is that it holds its shape, so you can kind of come up with a solution to keep it in place. And then so we place one in here, and skip two again, there's one in there, one at the end, and skip another two there, is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, so yeah. And then, so basically just evenly distributing them. And the skipping two thing is not important. You can obviously place lights into every single one of these if you so choose, like every single Technic pinhole that's here. But then, yeah, you have basically an even spread of lights. So if we turn this on, sorry about that. So yeah, if you turn these on, you can see that you have points of illumination going all the way down. And then obviously the more that you have that comes with your kit, the more illumination you will get out of the back of the ship. So with all of your lights in place, it's time to place this entire assembly back in there. And again, it can be a little bit frustrating if the lights are wanting to pop out and stuff, but just try to secure them as best you can, particularly, by on the other side where the lights actually come out, just kind of bending the wires into a shape that will hold themselves through there. So that's working out pretty good so far. So what I've done here is I've removed this section of the cargo, which is just this little subassembly here. That's just to hold the battery box. And then I've also going to go ahead and pop off the Hyperdrive for now. And it just comes off with a single stud, so it's really easy. It comes off really easily. And then we'll go ahead and replace this on here. So being careful to line everything up correctly. So I basically left a channel in here that's big enough to accommodate these side sections, and then it only studs in the middle. So once you have all of that lined up correctly, go ahead and just squeeze it down across the middle here, and then that battery box is literally just perfectly designed to fit right in here. And that's the reason why I recommend getting this specific lighting kit, because I cannot speak to the size of other lighting kits, but this braces across the top and holds this battery box in here very securely, and just allows easy access to the on-off switch, like so. And then you can see your Falcon is beautifully illuminated. So you don't have to worry about attaching these side sections at all. You just have the middle portion to worry about, and then you can just go ahead and replace the Hyperdrive in there, and that does connect right up into the lighted sub-assembly here. That's why it's easier to just remove it. And there you go, you're all done. And as you can see there, I think the results really do speak for themselves. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And the amount of lights that come with this particular kit feel right to me for the amount of illumination. But if you really want to go crazy, you can get ones that have double the amount of LEDs, and then you would obviously just place double the amount through each of the Technic holes, the ones that we didn't end up using for this kit. And then, yeah, you'll have an even brighter display. But to me, this feels perfect for the Falcon. So I'm very happy with what I have, and hopefully you guys are too. And the great thing is, if you just remove this single panel, you can access the on-off switch for the lights very, very easily. And this whole kind of box that's built around it really does keep it in place very nice and securely. So really not a lot of trick to getting the lights on and off pretty easily. And one other thing I wanted to note is that I have made available the extra Rectenna dish, the rectangular one from The Force Awakens. And if you're a fan of The Force Awakens like I am, sometimes you want to switch it around. So you can just pop off the Rectenna dish as I showed you before, and you just very carefully pull the dish away from these clips that are holding it in place. And then you go ahead and replace those clips down onto this back section here with the studs. So where you have this clip section here going into the kind of above the dish there, that's how you know it's not upside down, basically. Is what I'm trying to communicate. So there that is, and I think that it absolutely does the job. It looks great. Definitely gives you that Force Awakens vibe that you may or may not be looking for. So there you go. That's just one extra thing. And links to download that. It is a free little extension. We just decided to leave it out of the main build just in case folks don't want to have it and don't have to pay for the extra parts that they aren't going to use. So yeah, you can find the free building guide for that separately. Links will be included in the video description, and also with the actual the blurb included for purchasing the main instructions. So one quick thing I wanted to call attention to is the landing gear of the Falcon. They are not only removable, but they're also fully retractable. You just have to remove a couple of the panel pieces that are in here, or I guess they're modified plates that are used to hold them in place to make sure they don't shift while the model is sitting on the legs. But I will be showing you guys that on a different occasion once I've finished developing the stand that I am currently making for the Falcon, because I know a lot of folks are going to ask, first question, when will there be a stand and how can I display it on its side like I've seen other people do with their UCS Falcon. So that is very much something, the need for which I am aware of, and I will be definitely bringing that to you guys at some point, and then I'll be showing you how to retract and or remove the landing gear as you like, and then you'll be able to display it in its glorious flight mode, because you know, Falcons are great on the ground and all, but they want to fly, so I totally get it. So hopefully that won't be too long of a wait for you guys, but just wanted to let you know that is in the works currently, so that's that. And there you have it, guys. That's pretty much everything I thought you needed to know about the Falcon after you've built it, or perhaps before you build it. If you want to get a head start before you get building, you can go ahead and watch this video first. This project represents several years of my life at this point, and I really, and obviously also the hard work of the Brick Collective folks too, don't want to dismiss that. And I'm so thrilled to be able to bring it to you guys, because it is my Lego magnum opus. This is an incredibly satisfying and fulfilling thing to have for myself, and I really hope that it brings all of you guys who end up spending the time and money to purchase and build one of these for yourself. I hope that brings you years and years of joy to come, as it has done for me. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate all of the support. If you want to see more of my stuff, check out my Rebrickable page, check out my YouTube channel, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again very soon. Thanks again, and enjoy your Falcon.